Henshin Inspection presents Going Ultra. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Prepare yourself for hard-hitting Ultraman discussion and analysis. Ultraman Arc Episode 20 is called What is Passed Down. It originally aired November 30th, 2024. The director is Yusuke Akitake, and the writer is Ukyo Miura. I don't remember if she was the first lady to do an episode of Ultraman Arc or not, but the last writing credit I have from the Ultraman Wiki is episode 9 of Ultraman Taiga, the present for each. And she also worked on Ultraman G in 2017, 6 episodes, some early and then some late. And Ultraman Orb, she did 2 episodes, and Ultraman X, a single episode. So that's pretty cool. I don't know much about her except for she worked on those shows, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about the episode. So it was an interesting episode. Chief Bon, Hiroshi Bon, his daughter is doing this career day thing, and she chose not to go with Skip as her. Nobody applied for Skip as their career day thing, and like nobody wanted to ride along with the Skip crew in any area in order to learn about that career, and instead Chief Bon's daughter or Chief Hiroshi's daughter decided to work with a local news reporter instead, and he kind of feels sad about that, and he talks about the fact that parents don't really get to hold on to their kids, and they have to let their kids go their own way. And he has like a bento box or a lunch box or whatever from her that was hers when he was a kid, and he said stuff like this is the only thing that we parents get to hold on to. And I thought it was really interesting, and it's interesting especially because he was having that conversation with Yuma, who has no parents. His parents are dead, he doesn't get that side of it. And I think his grandma's still around, but I don't know what their deal is currently. She hasn't been in the show for a little bit. And I liked like the melancholy of this. I like that it's setting up this different threat, which is that there appears to be a Gomez, but it's actually not a Gomez. It's this other alien. I took a screenshot of the name of it, but I don't have it at my command right now. And it's some sort of glass kaiju that eats silicate, so it's going to go ahead and it went to a certain place there because there's like a glass factory, and it wanted to eat from there. So they were expecting it to behave one way based on like Yuma's knowledge of the physiology and the biology and the natural traits of kaiju, which is something emphasized in Arc that I don't know has been emphasized in other Ultra series just because I haven't watched enough of them, but it for sure to me was not emphasized in Blazar or in Z or Zet, whatever. So that's interesting. And the other thing I have to say is I like the kind of harder sci-fi aspect of Arc where they're talking about like knowing Yuma went to school to become like an expert in kaiju physiology and behavior, I would say. It's probably the best way to put it succinctly because I don't have the stuff right in front of me. But basically, he went to learn about this. It's treating kaiju as animals and having natural cycles. And we hear if Gomez is hungry, it should be going towards, since it's predatory or carnivorous, it should be going towards the foot of the mountain where there would be animals for it to eat. And if it's already full, and it's which we might suspect because it's not going towards where there would be animals for it to hunt and kill and eat, then it should be hibernating because apparently that's what they do. They eat and they sleep. And this Gomez is doing neither. It's climbing this mountain, but then we hear that it's actually this, Specchio? I don't know, whatever. That's the name of the strange creature that it is, and it mimics Gomez for what reason, I do not know, but it is a space kaiju. Excuse me. And since Ishido works for the space division of the GDF, he's more familiar with that, and he guesses that maybe it's a space kaiju when its behavior is anomalous for what a Gomez should be doing. And all that stuff's really interesting. The personal story with the chief and his daughter is interesting. She gets to see him being heroic, and she had said on the news, I think, that she would love to interview Ultraman if she could. And then there's this cool thing at the end where Hiroshi's there, and Ultraman's behind him, and Ultraman's here, and the Chief's here, and then his daughter comes up from behind, and she interviews him, and she talks about Skip and how cool Skip is, and how all of us can be doing something heroic, and we all need to find what we can do to make the world a better place. And it's kind of like I would assume, like a very Japanese, like not pluralistic, but like we all have to perform our roles in society, and we need to figure out what those roles are and then fill them, or fulfill them, I should say. And I think that's neat. I think it's cool. I like the message overall. And she's saying, like, I have to find out what is best for me to do. And, like, maybe being a reporter isn't the best thing for me to do. But she was able to report very well in that moment. I think it's because she was more familiar with, like, her father and the kaiju thing. She grew up kind of with Skip being a thing. And I think as a little girl, she talked about joining him at Skip. But that didn't happen, or hasn't happened yet. She was interested in this other stuff instead. And in the news reporting or whatever. And it's funny, Yuppie has a moment where he talks about how kids want to either be famous or be influencers, or have like, they either want to be influencers and survive off their fame, or they want to have jobs that are like super high paying, and Skip is neither of those. So that was like a real funny moment. And they're like, hey, you're being kind of rude. He said, I'm just being honest. And then they all like part ways awkwardly. So that was a real fun moment with Yuppie, like possibly using his personality that's been put into him, and possibly using the fact that he's a robot, and he's like, look, this is the data, folks. This is the data, and this is how it is. This is how kids are reacting to things these days. And I thought that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I really like that. There was a very cool thing with the Arc Eye Sword, which I called the Sunglass Slasher in my last review because I couldn't remember the name of it, which it does really look like. I need to compare them, but I'm not going to do that right now. But I really liked how they carried that effect. And I noticed in this episode that there haven't been a lot of, or like, I don't think last episode 19 or this episode 20, there was much in the way of those like Arc trick shots that we got early on in the series, where like the first 5 or 6 episodes, like Arc was doing something very imaginative, very creative. We were like seeing through his eyes. We saw through a kaiju's eyes. We got a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different interesting things happening here. I really liked the direction. There was like some awkward framing of Gomez in these different positions, and like he was being like, there was like some hand camera, or like handheld camera, like people running towards the kaiju as people are running away from the kaiju. So you have that contrast. And then he's like, there's an overpass and there's a lamppost or whatever, and you can see him behind that, and he's in front of electrical wires or whatever. So you get to see him with this stuff in the background of him, and then there's stuff covering him. So it's like, it feels like very real shots, very like documentary style shots, and I really enjoy those. There was great miniature work done. They were going to shoot the citronella acid at Gomez to because it's super effective against Gomez but they weren't able to, or it didn't work. It had no effect, or it was not very effective, and that kind of tipped them off, like, hey, something's going on with this kaiju. That must not be a normal Gomez. So there's kind of like a lot of little things going on here, and like everything that was done in it was done really well, and it was really interesting. It was a lot of fun, and I liked the core story. I don't know what they're doing here. And then the preview for the next episode, I've watched that episode already. Most of it, my boys were watching it, and I was kind of there seeing it with them while I was doing something else. And it's a pretty cool episode. I'm excited about it. And it's a great standalone episode, but I don't know what it's doing for the overall plot, and I don't know what this episode is doing for the overall plot either. And I feel like there are things to be taken care of with this whole annihilation of Earth thing that, to me, is still a threat. I do not believe that hole or whatever has been collapsed entirely, and I believe it is going to be a problem. So anyway, in the last couple minutes, I'm just going to read some interesting stuff from the wiki. There's a bunch of trivia stuff that I'll just read directly from. Again, this is from ultra.fandom.com, the wiki for this episode. So this episode is the first since episode 15 of Ultraman X, A Soldier's Back, to revisit the theme of a leader and his daughter. Notably, both episodes feature Gomez as part of the storyline. Interesting. This is also Gomez's first appearance in an episode centered on a leader storyline since episode 17 of Decker, titled Investigation from the Past. This episode includes several Easter eggs and references to the Godzilla series. Since Gomez is based on Godzilla, there is a direct connection between the two. 1. The footsteps of Gomez, I don't know, SP, why that's there, and the power line scene recall a classic shot from the 1954 Godzilla. Okay. Supiko exhibits traits of Space Godzilla by mimicking the appearance of Gomez and displaying characteristics such as flying using anti-gravity beams. Okay, I don't know about Space Godzilla. Sorry. Given Gomez's imposter role, some plot elements seem inspired by Mechagodzilla and its fake Godzilla disguise. For instance, Gomez's skin reveals Supekio's interior exposing its true nature as a mimic monster. Additionally, Gomez's use of a reflective shield and beam attacks in its battle with Arc mirrors Mechagodzilla's abilities in the 1974 Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. I had no idea. Shoes line. Is it a robot made to look like Gomez? That felt like a reference. It is a clear nod to Mechagodzilla. Okay, I was wondering what that was a reference to, and I'm glad I read through this so I could see, because that 100% felt like a reference, and I was thinking, what's that a reference to? I wonder. The silhouette of Gomez standing on a mountaintop, walking through the city, and its resistance to GDF artillery are reminiscent of Godzilla's portrayal in the 2016 film Shin Godzilla. After Gomez's defeat, it transforms into its true form, Specchio, resembling certain scenes for the conclusion of the 2021 anime series Godzilla Singular Point. In response to a question from a viewer on Twitter asking, why does Arc destroy the Kaiju's barrier with just one attack using the Arc Eye Sword? Special effects director Naoki Uchida explained, by reflecting the beam, it was able to amplify the energy, which is why the sword glows red when you look closely. Okay, I noticed the sword glowing red, and I thought it was going to... I actually said, like, oh, I think it's going to break while I was watching it, and I was surprised that it didn't, and he was able to get the attack. So I think I intuited that the glowing red meant that it was like, you know, whatever, absorbing power, just becoming too much. And then when he slashed through, I thought, oh, okay, so that's how he's solving it. It's not going to break. Instead, he's going to be able to utilize that power for himself, which I thought was a pretty cool way to go about it. So, yeah, this was a very cool episode, and there's the trivia for it from the Ultraman Wiki, the fandom Ultraman Wiki, or Ultraman Fandom Wiki, whatever you want to call that. And, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that's it for now. I would encourage you to check out the show notes so you can find out more information, see other stuff that's going on. And also, it looks like the actress for Tsugumi Ban is a Hafu. She's Christina Asaf Costello, or Costello. Costello is what it should be. Interesting. Who knew? Anyway, not that it matters. Oh no, that's the English dub, the voice actress. What a jerk. Okay. Yeah, whoops. Sorry about that. Let me see. In the main cast for the Japanese side, it doesn't name her. Oh, wait, guest actors. Okay, Rina Miura. Okay, all right. So she's not who I thought she was. It was false information right there. Gosh. Anyway, so check out my show notes, which will lead you to the show notes for the show, so you can get your own information from the Ultraman Wiki instead of relying on my unreliable information from time to time. And I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and check out growbugs.com. I have a book finished. It's called Mockwing Mayhem. In it, generally speaking, there are magical bugs who battle monsters, and specifically for this book, Mockwing Mayhem, there are, because it's a whole series worth of books, it's going to be awesome. You're going to love it. There is a Mockwing, which is this mist-like bird that hunts children and feeds on them in a certain way, and there's a magical bug who goes and fights this thing and protects it, and it thinks he thinks he killed it, but he didn't kill the monster, and so the monster follows him home, and then eventually it leads all its friends to attack his home and savagely destroy him and all his family members, who are essentially all brothers and sisters who are all magical bugs that battle monsters. And it's up to two at the end, two of like teenage type of magical bugs who are untrained and untested and unready to be fighters, to see if they can survive, help save an older, more powerful Growbug who's outnumbered and outmatched, and then even if they survive that, how will they survive the rest of the flock attacking them and trying to kill them? It's going to be a great story. Again, magical bugs battling monsters. There's a lot of tokusatsu-y things in the book, and a lot of tokusatsu ideas went into it, and these monsters, or these creatures of mine, these magical creatures, literally protect children, which is something that Ultraman and Kamen Rider and Super Sentai do a lot. So there's a lot of that tokusatsu heart in there, and I think you'll enjoy it if you enjoy this show and enjoyed hearing me talk about it. So until next time, folks, take care, be well.